Well, here we are again. I bet you expect to see me again. It's been a while, huh? Yeah, I got kind of behind at making videos. And to do something even weirder, we're going to make a wrestling video for the first time in a while. It's time for another Bookerman, where I take something that's interesting, and kind of rebook it, refinagle it. Today we're going to talk about something most people probably don't even remember or know about. When 21 years ago, Edge got taken out before a match on pay-per-view by a mysterious assailant. Was out for a whole year with an injury. And he came back, went to Raw. It was never mentioned again. And I thought, why not just weave a little tail out of that? Why not make a little thing going on? Because unlike Edge, when he came back, didn't have things to do. He feuded with Kane. He teamed with Redacted. We're going to be talking about him, but yeah. Teamed with him to win the tag titles and won the Intercontinental title from Randy Orton, ending his long reign as IC champ at that time. And then started transitioning to the heel turn that would be the Rated R Superstar. That's what he all did, like, within the span of, like, 1 year. It's really crazy to think, like, between his return, he missed Mania, but, like, if you go, like, after Mania to Mania, like a Backlash to Mania, like 11 months or so, it might not be exactly a year, but, like, this dude won the tag title, the IC title, and the Money in the Bank on that span. That's pretty good. Basically, redefined his career. That's a pretty good little run, you know? But I was watching this video about Wrestling Bios, shout out, about unresolved storylines that got dropped and whatnot, and I thought, you know, why not? Let's do one of these right now. Alright, so first of all, ship it. We're gonna actually make it so that after Backlash, night after Backlash, or after Backlash, it's a pretty big show because there was a lot of, like, we kind of were still having some feuds go. Shawn Michaels was still having his feud go on. You know, kind of with Chris Benoit for the world title and building up to the match later. But we had some things set up here, like Kane and Matt Hardy's feud began, and I believe, like, Edge started a feud with Evolution that would eventually lead to him winning the tag title. I think they win the tag titles on this night. I could be wrong. While looking it up, I don't know for sure. I know they win it either this night or, like, the next Raw. But we're gonna, like, it's kind of a weird thing. We're gonna keep things rolling, and we're gonna have to, before we get to Edge himself, night after Backlash. So let's start a little bit before Backlash, where Edge still comes back, Spears Bischoff, has a feud with Kane, wins the match against Kane at Backlash. It's fine. Kane pretty much doesn't have to be in the story for the rest of it, because he's not relevant to the story. And we still start Raw with the Benoit Shawn thing, where they make a title match for next week. But at the end of that segment too, Bischoff says, not only are we having that match next week, you and Shawn are going to team up tonight in a 6-man tag against 3 members of Evolution, Batista, Triple H, and Ric Flair, and you guys got to find your partner. So that way you can do Randy Orton's little promo where he calls himself a legend and stuff, and that's where Edge interrupted in that. But we're gonna have a different one because we're gonna have like 2 town hall segments. Randy can still have it technically free because we have Benoit and Shawn too. But basically, Edge says that he has something he wants to say tonight, like something we're told something important. So he comes out and he's like, you know, feels good to be in Raw again. Feels good to be in Raw, and I beat Kane. And that's great. I'm back, and I feel like I'm 100%. I'm really enjoying this. But he's like, I gotta show y'all something. It's very important. He shows the footage, like him being found at No Way Out the year before, when it was supposed to be Chris Benoit, Edge, and Brock Lesnar against Team Angle. It ended up being a handicap match after that in that show. No Way Out 2003. And he says, it's been bugging me for a year. Like, who tried to take me out? They almost ended my career. Who did this? You know? He goes, so I've come up. He says, I'm not Columbo. I'm not Sherlock Holmes. I'm not fucking, any sort of, I'm not Light Yagami or whatever the fuck. I have still come up with some theories here of who might be the people, the culprits. And he's like, the first person on my list, first person I think might have did this, who might have attacked me in the back like a little coward, like a little bitch, is Sylvain Gagne of La Resistance. He goes, not a lot of people remember, but he screwed Hulk Hogan at night as a referee later in that same show. So if that guy was willing to do that, to one of the biggest icons of wrestling, who say he won the tag beat from behind. And Sylvan comes out with his tag partner versus Rob Conway, and he like starts talking French like, you know, French Canadian, like, you're insane, you're stupid, you're an idiot. If I did that, I would tell you or something, you know. He's like the French. He goes, he really made a crack about like, you know, that's why you're from Toronto. You're not French Canadian like me, because we have balls and you're a coward. And like Edge punched him, and then Rob Conway starts beating him. We get a match 1-on-1. Edge wins the match. Make it like 5-minute match. Doesn't be long. Edge wins. After the match, Rob Conway like hits him with a flag, and they kind of put the boost to him. And Chris Benoit makes a save. And after the match, him and Edge kind of clean house, and he like tells him after, hey, want to be my partner? And he's like, sure. And then, before we get to that match though, later in the night, Triple H goes up to Edge in his locker room, and Edge is like, what do you want, man? I don't want to talk to you right now. He's like, listen, Edge, I don't like you. Like, you and me, we've never been friends, and I know you know Evolution runs things around here. And Edge is like, I'm not in the mood. He's like, listen, before you say anything, I just want you to think about one thing. In No Way Out, who were your partners? Who were the guys who were supposed to be watching your back? He goes, and where were they? Where was Benoit? Where was Brock? He goes, maybe, I'm just saying, maybe you shouldn't trust these guys. Maybe they're not the guys you think they are. And he goes, and he's like, you think I'm stupid? Why would Benoit attack me before our match? Like, maybe because he saw an opportunity for himself to take you out, you know. You know, just like sowing the seed of doubt of Edge, like, you're ridiculous. You could have like a fun little bit in the match where Edge accidentally spears Benoit, and you have like some miscommunication, and in the end, Evolution gets the win, you know. But as really this is the beginning of the story, and then the next week on Raw, maybe Edge like confronts Benoit. He's like, look, I don't know. I just want to. I want to know, like, where were you when I was getting attacked? And Benoit's like, I was getting, you know, I had a phone call I had to make or whatever. You know, what was I know I would have your back. What do you mean? You know, they're trying to sow this in, and then we find out like on that Raw, that's when they had the tag title match. We build a whole show and they win the tag titles, just like real life. Because I want them to have the tag titles, and it's important. So as this goes on, we have some more ideas here that Edge kind of like week to week. He's kind of in two storylines because he might occasionally be like a tag match with Benoit, but at the same time he's kind of going like looking for his basically accosting people, asking who done it, who did it, you know. One week he confronts Christian, say like about how, you know, you always were jealous of me and you betrayed me before, why should I trust you? And Christian's like, hey, man, I got Trish Stratus, Tyson Tom, well, I got time, but I ain't gonna, like, I didn't attack you from behind, you know, I was busy, you know. He's like, whatever, you know, and so Edge's like, okay, and maybe that leads to Christian Tom Go getting a tag title match on Raw, and you could have Jericho interfere to get like the DQ win to them, because Jericho's still feuding with Christian anyway. Just do that, you know, do stuff like that. And eventually, like about 5 weeks in the storyline, we get a brief somebody claiming they did this to Edge. And so first of all, we see Edge take it out. Like, he's the same way he was in the way out. He's on the floor, and Benoit comes just like he's worried. Like, what's happening here? You know, and this is right before the Montreal Raw they really did. So we'll see this before that. So he's upset, and you can even make this the same Raw where they had that battle royal that was for Dark Contender or whatever. Chuck Palumbo comes out, and Chuck Palumbo at this point he's not gay. Chuck Palumbo, he's not motorcycle man. He's not biker man. He's not even FBI at this point. FBI, he left the FBI. He's just kind of basic Chuck Palumbo. If you play SmackDown vs. Raw, you know Chuck Palumbo is. They don't say really much about Chuck Palumbo. But he comes out and he's like, hey, you know, I heard a lot of talk about who took out Edge last year. Well, I got some news. It was me and the FBI. You know, we took him out. We had a hit. Somebody paid us money. But that don't matter. But I want to make it clear, I'd do it again because that guy, he takes spots from people. You know, he's not the guy you think he is. He's a user and abuser. He's going to use YouTube and while, and you know, it's kind of like heel shtick. And you got Maven come out because he's like, hey, I'm Edge's friend. I'm his boy. You know, and so Chuck Palumbo has a match with Maven and beats him in like 4 minutes. You know, this is a little short match. Kind of so maybe he debuts the full throttle there, like the spinning thingy. So he gets a new finisher. I'd be fine with that because we you know, he shouldn't have to wait till he's a biker to do full throttle. Let him do full throttle. You know, I know it was probably done before that, but yeah, for the purpose of the video. So the next week on Raw, they had the Montreal tag match for Live versus the titles. Let him win clean. Don't bullshit. Don't do no shit. Like, have him just win. We could have, like, Chip Palumbo. But then after the match, Edge is, like, backstage. And he's upset. And Benoit's like, I'm going to get a rematch from Bischoff. He's like, no, you think I care about Bischoff? I want a piece of Chuck Palumbo. And I'm going to get it. And so he goes out later in the show. He's like, okay, Chuck Palumbo, get out of here, you son of a bitch. You say you took me out. Let's go. And so they start. Chuck comes out. And he's got on, like, he's got a lead pipe. And he's like, I'm going to finish what I started a year ago. And he comes out. But Bischoff immediately sends security. He's like, no. This needs to be a mini match. We got a pay-per-view coming up. You're going to face Chuck Palumbo. One-on-one. And the pay-per-view. Like, this is the way to get, Chuck Palumbo a nice pay-per-view payday. And at the pay-per-view, Chuck gets some stuff in. He has some moments. So give him like 10 minutes. And in the end, though, Edge gets the win with the spear. And then after the match, he gets the steel chair. And he's going to do the concerto. But before he does, he gets the mic. He goes, I want to hear it from you. I want to hear the word from your lips. Well, I want to hear two things from you. Tell me the truth. Did you really take me out last year? And two, tell me who paid you. And Sean goes, okay, I admit it. We didn't do it. I just was trying to make a name for myself. I'm new to this show. I'm new to Raw. You know how it is, Edge. And then Edge's like, unbelievable. I should just hit you with this concerto anyway. I should do it. And he's about to hit him, and then the lights go out. And when the lights come back on, Jim Cornette is on the ramp. Tennis racket in hand. Now, before I continue, Jim Cornette, obviously, not a good person. Pretty shitty. These days, especially. I think he always been, just he didn't reveal it now. But he's just a piece of shit. Horrible bigoted man. Idiot. Pretty horrible. He listens to whine about wrestling these days because he has horrible wrestling takes, in my opinion. But at this point, he's not that guy, He's not that guy, pal. And he still works for WWE this time, in 2004. 2004 with Ahmed, I should point out. I kind of jumped out there. So, for the purpose of our story, he works because we need a mouthpiece. And he says, Edge, Edge, Edge. What you don't seem to understand is that you've been so blind to the truth, you couldn't even see who was attacking. You couldn't see that there was a monster hiding in the shadows just behind you. And right behind him is Abyss. Right behind Edge, the monster Abyss himself, Chris Parks' Abyss. And we'll say for the purpose of the story, Abyss bought the rights to his name. He owns it. I don't want WWE to own the rights in this. I don't want, a VA thing like he can go like TNA and be it. Because this is kind of based on some reality where around this time, Abyss had an offer from WWE. And one of the rumors was he was going to fight Taker at WrestleMania. That's what they promised him. Which is a weird thing to promise a dude that at this point had really only had limited exposure in American TV, or American pay-per-view, really, because TNA didn't even have TV then. So, but he was great. He's a great hardcore model. Like when you see this dude have a hardcore match, and you kind of see the gimmick, you kind of get it almost like one match in like 5 minutes in, you probably understand. So that's understandable. It's a very weird thing to imagine like him going that fast to Undertaker. But then again, this company was going to make Hayden Vanson face Taker at Mania at one point, stuff like that. So it's not entirely, I guess, absurd. But anyway, so Abyss is here, and Edge turns around and immediately gets Black Hole Slams. And Abyss, and he can't have the chains on too, and he's like doing the taunt. And Jim Cornette's there with Abyss. That starts the feud here. And then we have the next brawl. Jim Cornette's there, and he says that Abyss, he's like, Abyss, this man, this monster, you don't understand the things he's gone through to make him this way. And he doesn't care because he's a black hole of darkness and sickness. But there was a time he was a man. And when he was a man, that man named Edge, that man known as Edge, he did something. He betrayed him. And he's gonna suffer for it. And Edge comes out, all cocked up and crazy and jumped out of his mind. He's ready to fight. He's ready to go, And then he tries to get Abyss. They ball for a bit. But then Abyss catches him with a chokeslam. And then he gets his chain. He wraps her and stuff. He's pulling on his throat. So Bischoff has to send security. They're pulling him off. And he's beating up the security. And Bischoff's like, all right, that's it. Vengeance. The next pay-per-view, which is Vengeance in July. You guys are going to have a match. God damn it, finish this. Finish this already. I'm tired of this. And in the meantime, Abyss, he has a match with Matt Hardy. He faces Matt Hardy one-on-one. Because Matt Hardy is in K-Fab Edge's friend here, So he faces Matt's trying to get some revenge for his homie. He loses. Because I like Matt, but he shouldn't be. At least that time I like Matt. He shouldn't be winning here because we need to establish Abyss. And you can have him beat like the Jerry on another Raw before pay-per-view. And this is building up. Edge is like kind of occasionally getting asked like in interviews what the history of him and Abyss is. And he basically just says, that really doesn't matter now. I need to finish this and continue on. I need to get my revenge. I need to focus because I came back from a broken neck. I want to be the World Heavyweight Champion. That's what I want to be. I deserve it. It's my time, and I'm gonna go for this, man. I'm gonna get my revenge on this big bastard. And I'm coming for Benoit, Triple H. I don't care. I'm coming. Even my friend, anybody, you know. So it's building and building. At Vengeance, we have to change the card around a little bit. So Jericho is gonna face Randy Orton for the Intercontinental title, and just for the sake of this, we have to have kind of Jericho win the title. I don't like the idea of him ending the reign of Orton for so long, but I don't really know what else to do unless we just uninjure Shelton Benjamin. Because Shelton Benjamin was injured this time. If we make it where he's like, I guess you could say, hey, let's make it Shelton. That works better. Give Shelton a run a few months before he gets it anyway. Because, I mean, like, if you still want to do the Jericho Christian ladder match at Unforgiven, it's a bit tricky, but, you know, we're working on it. But anyway, let's just skip to Vince. So, Abyss and Edge with Jim Cornette. And, you know, that's the main reason I wanted Jim Cornette is because I wanted a good mouthpiece for Abyss and who was available. Other than taking 5 James Mitchell, I could have did that. But I was like, nah, leave him in TNA so he can run the new church, you know, stuff like that. Anyway, Abyss and Edge, they have a crazy like back and forth match, and Edge Abyss kind of killing Edge for a bit. And Edge comes back, and it's right on the outside, and Edge hits a crazy spear to where like he spears Abyss into the step. But what he does, like he holds up and he's like holding his head, and it's bloody, like Edge is busted wide open, and he tries to get in the ring, but he stops himself. So the rest of the count 10, he just goes back and starts punching Abyss, and then he's double count up. Nobody wins the finish. But Abyss starts coming back, and that's when we have Abyss pull out the barbed wire. He pulls out a barbed wire bat, and he goes to hit Edge, and Edge moves, so it gets stuck in a turnbuckle. And Edge low blows him in. Edge pulls the barbed wire bat off himself, and he goes to whack Abyss, but then Jim Cornette grabs the bat, and Edge is just livid. He's losing it. He starts grabbing his hair like he does crazy. And it's just building and building and building, and it's building up, because eventually it's going to go to SummerSlam. We're getting to the big payoff of this feud, right? And so this is where also we start finding out more about what this history is. And basically what I want to do is like take some of Abyss's TNA storyline history, but not make it as goofy because they made it really weird. But basically, right, it was where they had Abyss was afraid of barbed wire. Because he got trapped in barbed wire when he was escaping, I think, a prison for like 3 days. He was trapped in a roll of barbed wire. We're gonna do something similar. Like we're gonna tell a story that Edge and Abyss, they knew each other or something when they were younger. Jim Cornette's gonna tell a story that they one time they really needed some money, and Edge talked to Abyss. He goes, this man, you know, this monster, he was always the strongest guy in the neighborhood, but he wasn't always that well known, you know, in the world as we know it. He didn't have street smarts, and that man Edge took advantage of it. He convinced him to help him break into his house, and then when they had the dogs chasing them, and they jumped the fence, and Abyss made it, but he got caught in the barbed wire and he fell on the ground, and he called for help, and Edge ran away like a little coward, and that scarred Abyss. It changed him and made him the monster he is. He said, that's why the barbed wire, he's going to use that to scar you, Edge. He's going to cut you up the way you cut him up. He's going to destroy you. And he tried to end your career a year ago. And he was waiting because he had a feeling. He had a little inkling that you were going to come back and he was going to end it once and for all. And we're going to do that at SummerSlam. And it's like, SummerSlam is like a no DQ hardcore, something, you know, you call it whatever you want. Let's say like a hardcore war or something. And the build up to it too, we have Abyss or Edge ends up like spearing Cornette, so we get some revenge on Cornette. But then after he does that, Abyss does a crazy spot where he wraps the chain around his fist and punches Edge right in the back of the neck, and he goes down hard. And then we like get the EMTs because I was worried about his neck, and Abyss is like screaming, "Ah!" And then Abyss, while this is happening, he pulls out a barbed wire board, and they're like telling him, "No, you can't do that. This man is injured," and he starts like hurting EMTs until finally, like, Bischoff has to get like some of the other lower card wrestlers to help out, including A-Train. A-Train kind of stops him, and even though you're probably like, oh, A-Train, he tried to injure Edge before too, or something, and then him, Abyss, and A-Train start brawling at ringside while the other security ETV, because it would be cool. This is building up too, and so on the Raw before SummerSlam, we get a medical update that Edge is medically cleared. He's backstage. He's not allowed to wrestle tonight, but he says SummerSlam. Anything goes, and I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna end you, Abyss. And he gets asked, by the interviewer, like, well, is what you're saying true? What was Abyss saying? Is Jim Cornette was saying true? He's like, I admit I've done bad things before, and I'm gonna do them again this Sunday. So why don't you find out, Abyss, how much of a monster you are? Because what we're trying to do, we're trying to eventually sort of also get Edge to where he's gonna become rated R superstar. Because it's essentially what he's evolving into anyway. It just, he isn't the heel turn. Keep in mind, SummerSlam also is in Toronto. But in real life, this man got booed crazy in Toronto. Worth noting. So, a lot of build up here. So, on this Raw 2, Abyss faces A-Train one-on-one, and he wins the match. And after he wins the match, he pulls up the barbed wire board, and he's going to put A-Train on it. But Bischoff does stop him. He's like, if you do this, I will suspend you. I can't let you do this. Save it for Sunday. You can do anything you want Sunday to Edge. Abyss thinks about it. And so he doesn't do it. He's like, okay, but he does end up picking up A-Train to give him another black hole slam just on the barbed wire board. So then we get to the SummerSlam. And you just have Abyss and Edge go crazy in a hardcore match here, right? Edge was the style at the time. And in the end, Edge hits a pretty crazy spear through a barbed wire table at ringside. That's here, kind of like WrestleMania 22 style, but without the fire with the barbed wire. And he does for it, but it's not false cut anywhere. So he gets up and his arm's a little cut. He drags Abyss by the hair. He's so massive, right? And he puts him in the ring. And he's starting to feel it, and he tries to go for the pin. But then Abyss kicks out, And there's a shot. So Edge gets the barbed wire board out. He has the barbed wire board. He pulls it out. He's like, I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna end this. And he goes to get Abyss, and his plan is he's basically gonna kind of grab him by the hair and flip him. But then Abyss grabs him, throws him to the ropes, black coat slam right on the barbed wire board. It's be a crazy visual. He's just screaming in pain on the board. He was able to rip him off. Crazy bloody Edge, and he pins him 1, 2, 3. Abyss has won this hardcore war match. And after this, because in real life, Edge gets injured right after this, but I think it's the match on Raw after. But we'll just say he takes some time off in kayfabe. Or in shoot, I guess, but we'll write him off that this took him out. He's injured. He's out of it. Because what we're basically doing here, we're making a new heel monster in Abyss. We're answering the mystery here. And we're also kind of setting up Edge. He's going to come back and be different. He's not the same guy. He's more of a monster. And the next Raw, also Cornette is back on Raw with Abyss, and we start a feud basically Abyss leads to Unforgiven. If you want to know how Abyss continues here, he targets Eugene because Bischoff wants to get rid of Eugene, and he promised him, if you help me get rid of Eugene, I'll owe you a favor. And that's a good thing though. And Abyss which we'll have to I think it probably have to be him trying to fight Jericho for the IC title, and probably have to have somebody interfere and screw him. Because it's eventually going to be what I would do is basically have him beat Eugene at Unforgiven and take out Eugene, big style. Maybe that's where he debuts the thumbtacks. At this point, he's just using barbed wire, brings out the thumbtacks. He would then go on to the next time on Raw, he gets a match with Kane, where we get the Snitsky thing, where it's just Abyss replaces Snitsky. And he causes Lita to have an abortion. That story's fucked up, but if you had to do that and make Kane a face and write him off for See No Evil, and build to Abyss and Kane, because that would be a pretty good match in 2005, definitely. At that point, still, it would be a good match, I think that could work. Maybe if you didn't want to do that crap, you just have him choke slam leader or something. Choke slammer through a table, I don't know. Something like that, something less weird. The whole storyline's weird, but yeah. And because basically Edge's going to come back and start turning slowly heel, being the conceited, egotistical, I want everything for me guy he would become. And in that process, you don't really have to make him an Abyss fight again, because he's basically on the different level. I mean, he's heel. And I also, I don't want to go too far in the Abyss book here, because then it's going to become a whole Abyss's first year WWE thingy. But I do have one where I did eventually Cornette stops being his manager because I had Muhammad Hassan and Navari come. Muhammad Hassan basically tells Cornette, "You're using this man, you're abusing him, just like the Americans. You know, they like to look down on Muslims. You look down at him. We see him as an equal. We want to be his friend and his ally because he's been persecuted like us." And then Abyss is like, he's not gonna listen to you guys. He's got his own mind, right? Abyss, come with me. And Abyss like thinking about it. You're like, come on, Abyss. We got business to attend to. Let's go. He's like, what are you listening to these videos for? And then he's like, hey, you big dummy, you better. And he just chokes them. He chokes them. Cornette maybe breaks the tennis racket on his back. And it's like, Rrr! And then Muhammad Hassan and him become a team. And what I'd do is like have Davari just be their manager. Like I'd have Abyss and Muhammad Hassan win attack battles. Cause why not? That sounds like fun. Could work, right? Very weird team, but it could work. I mean, a lot like the who were the tag champs anyway? Like, oh, Rhino and Tajiri? Yeah, they could kill Rhino and Tajiri. They could do that, you know? Oh no, Tajiri and Eugene. Should kill Tajiri and Eugene. Or Eugene and Regal. I don't, it was one of those freaks. You know, they could do that. Why not? Maybe like at least a natural feud with Hurricane and Rosie. I don't know, but that's just my ideas here. I feel like this would have been the best idea, the best way I think to tell the story. If you're gonna get Abyss, make him the guy who attacked Edge. You don't have to do the stuff I did with the lore of Edge and Abyss, but you could. You could also like he just wanted to make a name for himself, or he doesn't care for blonde Canadians. I don't know. And like, if I had to do it, if you like, someone told me I had to do parameters, like has to not be somebody who's fired by the company, have to at least be hired. Assuming like they were hired like in 03 and we're still hired in 04, maybe not exactly when Edge came back, but like around the time. I'm not saying Brock Lesnar figured that, though. Like maybe like I'd say like Test would be a good one. Rhino would be interesting if you want to go like that way with a heel Rhino, because he kind of was turning face around time, team with Jiri, but didn't really lead anything. You know, those are just ideas. I could probably do those, but I feel like maybe even Mad Hardy just to be not Mad. Maybe like because we returning Jeff, so it wouldn't work. Not Mad, but I was like maybe like Christian, but I wouldn't really want to do that feud again because it's been too recent at this point. It'd been a few years. It wouldn't feel that fresh. You know, if you're gonna do it again, you have to wait a little while. You know, this is ideas I could do. Like maybe the FBI, maybe you just boom all the Raw and like they feud with him, and I think A-Train because he had a feud with him before. Maybe, you know. These are ideas, but I think like Abyss would be the best option in building him up. You know, this dude that we don't know hardly anything about. Now he's got Jim Cornette as a mouthpiece. He has history with Edge. He's having crazy hardcore matches. He's beating the Raw roster. he's making Lita have an abortion, maybe. Beating the piss out of Kane, you know. He's teaming with Muhammad Hassan. I guess the only problem would be that I don't know if the Taker match would happen then. But it still theoretically could, just what happened at WrestleMania 21. Or 20 for that matter, to see what they'd be way after 20. But yeah, I talked a lot. Anyway, that's enough of that shite. You heard me talk enough. We're good, right? I think I'm going to go now and watch some of the last Raw that happened. Watch some Strowman and JD, what's his name? Like, don't Google me, that's your brony. That's Schlemiel. And thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed it.